I'm here at the Calgary Seniors Resource Society, where they help some of the Calgary's most vulnerable population, our seniors. Please vote Wade for Ward 9 because we cannot forget about our seniors. It's a time for change. I'm here with Lori Payne. She's Executive Director of the Calgary Seniors Resource Society. And Lori, if you're okay, I'm going to remove my mask because we're now distanced.
And I think that would be good too. I'll do that as well too. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm really excited to see you because we've worked for years together at the Calgary Seniors Resource Society, and I've always had a soft spot for seniors, as you know.
Yes, I know that.
And so I have been a huge fan of the organization. But you know what's really strange for me? There's still, after 26 years now?
Yep, just over 26.
Yeah, just over 26.
Mm-hmm.
So 26 years, and there's still a lot of people who don't know about the organization, and it just has to change.
Yep, no, and that's great. And I have to say, I'm thrilled that you're actually running for council, because I think we need to get awareness out there about seniors. And I mean, certainly with the pandemic, we found out very quickly who was kind of forgotten and who suffered the most and everything. And I remember too when we first met at a networking breakfast, and you were very, very interested, and I felt right away your concern about seniors, about family, about working together, and certainly that really is what's needed, a voice at City Hall, all levels of government, where people are recognizing the seniors.
Well, do you find, because you're the Executive Director of the Calgary Seniors Resource Society, do you find that the government levels that you work with, the municipal, provincial, and federal, do you find that you're getting adequate support from them?
I think certainly with the pandemic that has come out, but I think there's always more awareness, because we talk about the economy, we talk about communities and services and everything, and I think there is a need to address seniors where they fit in there, because they are a large part of our community. They support, they're there. So I mean, really, we do have to include them. They're part of our families.
But is the fear, because I heard your answer, and you said that because of the pandemic, but is then your fear then after the pandemic subsides that it might become an issue that kind of fades into the background again?
Well, there's always that fear. I really do hope that does not happen.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I think that with the awareness now, the spotlight that's been shone on the situation, we look at long-term care, we look at isolation in the communities. I mean, how do seniors get out? I mean, when the pandemic hit, and even now as well too, is that seniors, they're afraid to go out. I mean, we've had further restrictions now. So what do I now what do I do with my food? What do I do with my pet? What do I do with medications and things? I'm afraid to go out. So.
Well, I mean, my grandmother is 90 years old. She just turned 90 a week ago. And what I've noticed is, even with my own family, is they're worried about even meeting people. It's gotten a little bit better now with the vaccinations, but for the longest time I've seen many seniors feel like they're holed up. You know, and I would imagine then the cases for your social work on isolated seniors in crisis has probably increased.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen an increase, and I think there was a lull right after this because people were just kind of afraid to go out and everything. But I think as this progresses and continues on, things that were maybe an inconvenience or a bit of a challenge are now becoming a major issue. We're starting to see more people that are running out of money, that they have utility bills to be paid, they can't afford where they're living, it may be unsafe, just lots of things that are coming out of all of this. So we're starting to see the real results of that initial, and we're still not even through the pandemic yet.
Oh, so what you're saying is actually the results are not in yet.
Oh, no, we're still
actually,
living
it's
through
still
this.
Increasing.
We're still living through this. We're seeing more people coming because they were able to maybe survive a little bit over that time and with some support. But the longer this goes on, and we haven't even addressed the mental health issues, the stress, the anxiety around this, and what this does to seniors.
Well, and tell me more about the mental anxiety, because when we've been out in the communities, we've heard people, not just with seniors, but even young people, speaking about mental distress,
Yep.
leading possibly to an increase in drug consumption and alcohol consumption. And then it also seems to be circling around to creating more isolation in people. Right? They're kind of all. Are you noticing that also with the senior community?
Absolutely. I think that we all have different coping mechanisms as well too, and especially when we don't have family and social supports in the community. Who do we go to? Often what ends up happening, they're on their own. And we can also not forget about, there's certainly addictions and all of that, but there's also neglect. I mean, people they go without as well too. So there's different ways of coping and how we deal with some of the stress and the anxiety.
Well, tell me how Calgary Seniors helps people cope with that.
Well, we certainly, we've got great, our senior social supports, which are volunteer-driven programs. We've been in touch throughout this pandemic. We shifted and changed very, very quickly. I think we went from a regular organization, services out of the office, to the next day where all of a sudden we were working remotely, and we had to keep a team going that was looking after volunteers, looking after seniors, bringing in new and all of that. And we were able to do that. We shifted some of our programs from like escorted transportation to medical appointments to essential transportation, getting to various places that they need, whether it was through medical, whether it was, I mean, the one thing is cancer treatments and checkups and all of that. Those kinds of things didn't stop just because of the pandemic. People were still requiring treatments, requiring procedures and checkups with doctors. People forget about that. That wasn't elective surgeries, that was bad enough. But what about all of these other life-saving type things? And we were there to support.
Well, so you're saying you're a volunteer-driven organization. How many volunteers do you have?
Well, it's interesting. Before the pandemic, we had about 1,350 volunteers.
Okay. Yeah, I remember,
1,300, 1,400 volunteers. And unlike a lot of the organizations in the community, we actually increased our volunteer contingent. It was over 1,000 volunteers we brought on during the pandemic, which is really great. But we provided an opportunity, meaningful opportunities for people to help out seniors in the community.
Who forms your volunteers base?
Who's part of our volunteers?
Yeah, like are they?
Everybody.
Do you find that they're students or?
It's right across the board, John William. We've got seniors who are retired and they're helping out their peers.
So it's seniors helping seniors.
Seniors helping seniors. We've also got people who maybe were underemployed, working at home, had a little bit more time. Sometimes we've got younger families, they're taking care of the kids, they've got some time out, they want to do something meaningful, so we've got people doing that. And we've got students. So we've got really a variety of people.
And it mixes the generations together.
Absolutely. And that's really the key, isn't it? We're all part of the community, and it's a learning thing, and it's as much about supporting the volunteer giving of their time and what they're getting out of that as it is for the senior who's receiving the support.
So when I'm elected to be the counselor, because you were saying you'd like me to get elected, how can I help you and how can the city help you as an organization?
I think really we need a champion on council. Someone who looks and says, you know, seniors are important, they're valued in the community. And it's not to say other groups aren't, but I think that we've been underrepresented.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's time, and especially now with the pandemic, I think it's time that we do start looking and saying everyone's valued in our communities. It's inclusive, and we support our seniors, and we want to make sure that they don't kind of fall through the cracks.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And you know that you've got my support, Lori. I do, because I believe, especially with your organization, you work on such a lean budget, and with the volunteerism, you stretch the dollar well beyond anybody else.
We leverage. We're able to leverage, and we're able to reach because of that strong volunteer component and engaging, meaningful engagement in community. That, again, like I said, the volunteers get as much out of this as the seniors do, who they're supporting, and I think that's healthier communities.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. The more we get together, the happier we'll be.
There you go. You've got it. Yeah. Perfect.
Well, thanks, Laura. I appreciate that, because it was so important to me. I know that you're a really busy person, and we wanted to make sure we highlighted that because seniors' issues have always been something important to me. So thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and thank you for being that voice. I really do wish you well on this campaign.
Thank you.
Because we do need people who are going to speak out for those who can't speak out for themselves as well too, and often seniors are like that.
I agree.
So,
thank you
great.
very much.
Thank you.
All right.
And I think it'd be great for you to talk to a couple of other people on the front line.
Would love
and
to,
stuff.
if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'd
We'll
be
do
very
that.
excited.
I will bring a couple of people in for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we're back, and now we have someone who's really, really special to this organization. It's Diane Cooper-Ponte, and we're now going to interview her and see what she does for the organization and how the organization helps seniors. So I'm going to take my mask off again because now we're all in position. And Diane, it's really nice to see you again. I haven't seen you for a little while, and I really want to make sure people understand how important you are for the organization. What is your position with the Calgary Seniors Resource Society?
Well, John, it's nice to see you again. As you say, it has been a while, but my position is lead on our fund development team.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially our team of 3 is responsible for doing a lot of grant writing and raising money to support the activities of the agency.
And so when you're writing the grants or you're writing the applications for the grants rather, are you the one that's writing them, or who else works with you?
Well, as I mentioned, it's a team of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Moser joined us about 4 months ago.
Okay.
And then we have Sheila Kaiser.
Okay.
You probably know Sheila.
I know Sheila, yeah.
And she does a lot of the admin and stewardship, etc., for the department. So it is Derek and I that do a lot of the writing.
And how long have you been with the organization?
Oh, as an employee,
Yeah.
about 12 to 13 years.
Yeah.
And prior to that, I was a volunteer.
And your husband's a volunteer too.
He is,
Yes.
yes. I think he's already done 20 years.
I'm sorry. Did you say 20 years?
I did, yes.
Holy smokes. Wow. And he actually won an award, if I remember correctly.
He did. In 2011, he won the Minister of Senior Service Award. He was very active as a driver. He doesn't do so much now, but he still has 1 or 2 favorites he drives.
So he's a senior himself.
Oh gosh, yes.
Okay. Well, no, but people don't know that, right? So he's a senior himself, and he's volunteering to help other seniors.
That's correct.
Wow, and he's driving them.
Yes.
Wow. So do you find that the magic elixir of Calgary seniors is the volunteerism?
Oh, absolutely. It
Right.
is the volunteers are the heart of this agency.
And do you find then that it helps seniors feel more included when they're helping other seniors out?
From my husband's perspective and other seniors I know that have volunteered with the agency, I would say yes, very definitely.
So would that help with the feeling of isolation that some seniors have when they're on their own? If they can get included in the process of helping other seniors, it would make them feel more connected with the community?
Oh, very definitely.
Right.
Yes.
And so how do you find that or in your opinion, because you're involved with fund development, and that was what I was involved with the Calgary seniors as well, how can the city help this organization with their fund development?
Oh, that's a big one. Well, the biggest funder we have is Family and Community Support Services. And as a matter of fact, we're just working on our application for the renewal of that funding. Really what we would like to ensure is that that funding is not cut, and if there's any way it can be increased, because the need, as you know, seniors are becoming a larger demographic.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
not all seniors need the services of an agency such as Calgary Seniors, but there are many that do. And we really want to make sure that we can continue, we're 26 years old now,
Yes.
serving those seniors.
And so you find that the need is going to increase or decrease?
Oh, it's going to increase, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And so we need to support organizations like the Calgary Seniors Resource Society even more than ever before.
That's correct, yes.
And do you think there's some people who argue that the city of Calgary can put together a program to help seniors? What would you say to them? Would you say it's better to have a volunteer organization, a volunteer-driven organization like Calgary Seniors Resource Society, or have it be a government organization that helps out the seniors?
I believe it's better to have it as a volunteer organization.
Okay.
That our volunteers, they do it because they want to do it. They're not doing it to earn money. They don't feel obligated to do it. It is a passion for
Yes.
them. And I just think bringing that passion to the table to support the seniors makes the seniors feel more inclusive.
Exactly. So would you say, though, that with all the volunteerism, because like when I was involved with the organization, I think we were at about 1,350, 1,400 volunteers. And now I've heard that during the pandemic, it's surged by another 1,000 volunteers.
That's correct. We're at approximately 2,600.
Wow, wow, wow. So with all that volunteerism, would you say then that probably the dollar gets stretched a lot further in Calgary Seniors than it would if it was just something that was government driven?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
So even from a dollars and cents point of view, it makes sense to help the Calgary Seniors Resource Society.
that's correct. It does.
Well, that's why I got involved in fund development.
Right.
I had to believe that the money was being spent wisely, and I saw it. It is.
And we do appreciate the contributions you brought to Calgary Seniors when you were involved with us. And certainly we do appreciate what the city is providing. And I don't know if Lori mentioned that we won the Calgary Award for Community Advocate this year.
She didn't. No,
Yeah, we did.
she didn't mention that. Well, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Okay, well.
So we were really pleased with the support and the recognition from the city with that award. And of course, we are pleased with the support we get from FCSS. We just know that the need is going to grow so much larger.
And I've heard that part of that support is going to be that there's going to be the one for the Ages Gala is going to be coming back next year. Is that true? I hope. Is it?
Pandemic.
Pandemic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
We are very much planning on it. We booked the date, and we are going to hold it at the Ranchman's again.
Ranchman's,
and
okay.
I believe it's Thursday, June 9th.
June 9th.
of
Oh, so you've already picked.
2022.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Well, you can book me in. I'm coming.
Okay, great.
Thanks. Seniors have traditionally formed a big part of the voting bloc in any election. Have you seen any of the other candidates come here and speak with the Calgary Seniors Resource Society? Or have you seen them, or have you seen their platforms be senior-centric? Have you seen any that you would pick out?
No, not at this time.
Really?
Really. Well, there is one other candidate that I am aware of that has reached out to me
Okay.
to discuss seniors issues because she knows that I work here,
Oh, okay.
and
Are
we
they
have discussed that.
Are they in Ward 9 for the City Council election?
No.
Wow. So no one else in Ward. Did you know there's 10 candidates in Ward 9,
I didn't know how many.
including the incumbent, Mr. Kra?
Right. No, we haven't. I personally have not spoken to anyone, and I haven't heard of anyone else speaking to them.
So this organization has always done an amazing job of reaching out to seniors. I mean, that's their whole raison d'etre, right? How do they reach out? Because in the pandemic, I'm sure it's been difficult to reach out in traditional means. Is there any kind of support that they receive in terms of technological or hands-off ways of getting seniors to be involved or reaching out to seniors?
There are a couple of other nonprofits that do work with seniors on the technical pieces.
Okay.
There's a university group that will do some training, and they will also arrange to provide some laptops. I believe
okay.
there's a lending program with the library for
really?
laptops. I believe it's the library.
Okay.
And during the beginning of the pandemic, when a lot of seniors, because a lot of seniors don't even have cell phones,
Yeah.
they tell us Connecting for Good provided some cell phones, some tablets.
Oh,
some
TELUS
cards.
as in the company?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. They weren't telling you that?
No,
Oh,
no.
You mean TELUS, the company?
Yeah,
Okay.
the company. So they did a big program, and it went on for quite a few numbers of months. And seniors were able to be provided with those. But it's very difficult, and we've been trying to connect with seniors virtually because we have a number of programs we can do virtually, like education programs, fraud programs. But most seniors do not have access, and a lot of seniors don't really want to learn the technology.
Is one other way that you're reaching out to seniors through, because there's a program, Seniors Connect, correct?
Yes.
And so that program teaches frontline workers, like the Postal Service, bank tellers, people who are going to be interacting with seniors, to identify seniors that are in distress. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that program and how important that is that we have?
I could tell you about the program, but I understand you're going to be talking to Chris.
Oh, and that's Chris's. Okay.
Yes, he is
no
the
problem.
team lead.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Chris is the team lead. Okay, perfect. No, I appreciate that, Diane. But honestly, Diane, I'm always in awe. The way I always introduce you or speak about you is that I always say you're the hardest working part-time retired worker that I have ever seen in my life, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, John.
So and so if I really hope that if people vote for Wade for Ward 9, that I promise you that I certainly have not forgotten the seniors, and that we're going to shine a light and put the wind behind your sails.
Oh, we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, not a problem at all. It's my pleasure. So we're back, and now we're with Chris Can, who is the team lead for the Senior Connect program at Calgary Seniors Resource Society. I'm really excited to hear more about what the organization does with this. And Chris, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm going to take my mask off because now we're distanced.
Absolutely.
There we go. So, Chris, tell me more about what Senior Connect does for the organization and for the rest of the senior population in Calgary.
Yeah, absolutely. So Senior Connect is an urgent crisis social work response service for seniors within Calgary.
Okay.
So we do serve the entire city and some of the outlying areas, so like Airdrie, Cochrane, Chestermere, but our primary focus is the city of Calgary.
Okay.
So I know that's, well, great. What does an urgent crisis social work response
Yeah,
look like?
you read my mind. I was
Right.
going to ask you that. Yeah.
So we get involved when there's seniors who have identified a crisis or an urgent need in their life. That could be a mental health crisis. That could be something along the lines of like housing insecurity, financial insecurity. Maybe someone's got.
What do you mean by housing insecurity?
Yeah, so that could be maybe they've received an eviction, or
okay.
they don't have the funds to. Maybe their pensions have been reduced due to for whatever reason, and
Right.
they don't have funds to continue paying the rent that they're currently where they're currently living. So they need to look for more affordable or subsidized housing options. It could even be they're looking at making a change and going to a subsidized or affordable housing facility that's in the city, and they don't know how to navigate that. So we really look for clients to identify what that crisis means for them in their life. They're the experts. They know what they're struggling with, and we support them with that.
You mentioned affordable housing.
Yeah.
What does affordable housing mean to you?
To me, well, I mean, I'm probably going to have a different answer than everyone, but to me, it's affordable housing is safe, stable, secure housing that is affordable within the income restrictions that people are facing. So especially with seniors, their incomes are often very fixed. If they haven't had private pensions, they're solely relying on what they've contributed to the Canada Pension Plan, Old Age Security, and then some smaller supplements, the Guaranteed Income Supplement and Alberta Seniors Benefit.
But they would have their own cooking facility.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood your
So
question.
you're not talking.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between a group home
Yeah,
and affordable housing.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So how would you define the difference between group homes and affordable housing, or a drop-in center type of idea?
Yeah, well, so a group home or a drop-in center are more of those, I guess in terms of seniors, are more of those congregate supportive living communities. So
Okay.
I think about the best, I guess, example I would give is more of those higher level of care, senior lodges, things. That would be
Okay.
more of like, it's not really a group home, but that's your congregate
But more
care
more
facility.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and,
so-
and less independence.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
that's exactly it. You've hit the nail on the head. When I talk about more affordable, stable, subsidized housing for seniors, it's that independent community living.
Yep.
So they're still able to live independently in a community, cook their own meals, do everything that they would do whether they're living at home,
Right.
but it's just in an affordable place where they're not being charged market rents. They're subsidized based on income, but there's just not enough of that out in the city. So
No, there's not. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm involved is my grandmother is 90 years old, and we just had her birthday a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
And she has now gotten to the point where she's not living at home anymore. And she's now moved in with my mom. So it's something that we are dealing with. And one of the things that I noticed about my grandmother is she was so scared to lose her independence. We had to move her from Vancouver to here.
right,
And so she's lost all of her social connections.
yeah.
And it's something that we're really dealing with right now, is we're trying to find a way to make her feel more included and more part of Calgary.
Yeah, and that resonates with me. I think that's a lot of the same struggles that a lot of folks who are aging in community go through. It's, I think the misconception, especially around aging and seniors in not only Calgary but in the country, is that it's a bad thing, and you are going to lose your independence. You're just going to be shuffled into an old folks' home. Someone's going to forget about you, and there's no supports for people to age healthily in community. So, yeah, and I think that all ties back to what some of the work we do in Senior Connect, because you're having those folks that may not have family like you to
Yeah.
turn to.
Exactly.
And I mean, sometimes they even do have family, but they don't have the capacity to support or be involved. So we're there to be that bridge and that advocate for those folks, those seniors that don't have that support. And with our crisis urgent response services, we can act faster than other agencies because we don't have those wait lists. We're purposely focused on getting in, stabilizing, and help prevent crisis. And then once that piece is stabilized, we connect them to the long-term supports that are in the city, whether that's here at Calgary Seniors through our outreach department, or
Yes.
connecting them out to the larger weigh-in network, which is the other senior serving agencies in the city, just depending on where they fall, the client or the senior falls within the city boundaries.
So Chris, do you find that this is an issue just because of the pandemic, or is this going to be an issue that's going to continue to grow?
No, definitely not. I mean, it was definitely heightened because of the pandemic.
Okay.
We saw a lot of folks, socially isolated seniors, afraid to go out. Obviously, of getting sick, they weren't even able to go out and get their groceries. So, looking for support on how to get groceries to their homes. But definitely, I don't see this problem going away because, as I'm sure you're probably aware, seniors are the fastest growing demographic in Calgary
Yes.
and in Canada as well. So, when we
Right.
look at the city's age-friendly strategy and what they're projecting for increase in growth in the senior population, it's just going to explode over the next 10 years. So there's we're going to see an increase of folks 65 plus and very minimal services to kind of support them out there. So we have to make sure we're doing our best to support that aging population.
So, in order on that vein, two things that I have questions on. Number one is I know that there's an escorted transportation to and from medical appointments, and I believe you even did a special one for vaccinations.
Correct.
Is there going to be an escorted transportation for seniors who have no transportation to get to where they can go out and vote?
That's a really good question. I have to say I don't know at this point in time, but I think it's worth something to take back to our executive director and also the folks that run those programs in our volunteer department, because we need to get creative and looking for ways to support seniors in the community. Because I mean, it's different. Say you're living in a facility that is just dedicated to seniors. I mean, a bus could go there. You could hold
Absolutely.
voting stations in the facility. But what about, like you said, those people that are living alone in community and don't have the ability to get
Absolutely.
out and vote? So yeah, I think it's a very. Do we have it now? No, I don't. I don't really know if anyone is doing it. But I think
it's a good idea,
It's a good idea.
and you are well positioned to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Right? You're already doing it. How did you become involved with Senior Connect? Because I'm always in awe of the people who run this program.
Yeah, so I've got probably a little bit of a different story than most folks in the agency. I spent over 10 years working in banking and finance. I was doing
Oh,
a job.
okay.
I managed a Western Credit Center for mortgage lending for
Oh.
quite some time. So that's my background.
Okay.
Not to knock anyone in the industry, but I hated every day of it. So it didn't speak to my soul. It didn't feed that passion of serving and helping people. So after, like I said, 10 years in that, I made the decision to really step back from that. Okay, just don't look at a paycheck. If you're going to be working for the rest of your life, what is going to fulfill that
drive you.
personal need, right? So determined that social work was the way to go. And why I got involved with seniors is because, like you said, with the story about your grandmother, some of the closest relationships that I've had in my life are with my own grandparents.
Yeah.
And I just, every day that I come to work, I just think about like, what really drives me is like, how would I want someone to treat my grandmother? I only have my two grandmothers left, but if they were in a situation where they needed help,
Yeah.
where would I want them to go? Would I want to know that people are out there? And absolutely I would. And that's what gets me coming to work every day and doing the work that I do.
Well, Chris, I appreciate what you do,
Yeah.
and I acknowledge all you, and I realize it's not just you. I realize that, but I really would love to acknowledge you and the whole organization for all the work you do for seniors here. And I agree. You know, when I get elected into City Council, I'm giving you my commitment that we're going to make sure as a city that we put more wind in your sails to make your job better and easier. You stretch the dollar with all the volunteerism, and what you do for work for seniors is just invaluable.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think not so much about the recognition. Well, I think it's good to recognize the team. And like you said, not just me, we've got a great team of people
Yep.
here that are doing the work. But I think it is important to get those folks into council in whatever position they're in, because at the end of the day, the programs that are funded through the city rely on those people advocating for
Yes.
them. And like I said earlier, I think too many people just assume that seniors are taken care of, when in reality, they're kind of pushed to the side and they're not. I mean, I always, I hate to say it, but unless you're in a financial position where you can care for yourself, you're kind of, you're pushed to the side. And I don't want to see that for anyone that's in the city. It's important for folks that are in council and in those positions to be advocating for more money to be given to agencies that support seniors, and to really do that community work that supports the seniors.
I agree. And just has any other candidate come up and talked to you about Seniors Connect and gotten to know about it?
No, unfortunately not. I would hope, thinking that people that are in the city know about the programs, especially when you get funding through the city, but I'm often surprised at the folks that haven't heard about Calgary seniors and the work that Senior Connect does. And I think we're stuck here too, because I mean, you want to get out there and make the program known, but one of the first things to go when there's funding cuts is all that educational opportunities to be able to go out and make community members aware of the services that are out there. So if people don't know about us, then there's just going to be people continuing to fall through the cracks because they don't know there's a service like Senior Connect that can be out there to support them and get them connected to the resources and the supports that they need to live happy, healthy, and safely within community.
Well, I appreciate that. And like I said, you have an ally in me, and we will make sure that you get the assistance that you need.
Yeah, it's awesome.
One final question. We've heard about the program, and we know that this is an amazing program that people need to get behind. How can they get more involved with your program? Is there a website that they can go to? Are there the location that they go to? How do they get more involved with the Calgary Seniors Resource Society, especially with the Senior Connect?
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it, because I think when people think about getting involved or committing to something, they think it's going to be long volunteer hours, or they're going to have to commit a chunk of the time that a lot of people don't have.
Okay.
But with Senior Connect, we're not asking for much. I think we really rely on community referrals. So that could be, when I say community referrals, that could be, we're looking for those people that have the eyes on the seniors in the community. So it could be neighbors, it could be family, it could be people in the banks. We want them to look out for seniors, be able to identify the signs of people at risk, and I'll tell you how they can do that. But then they can be the ones calling in and making a referral for these people that they're concerned about, and we take it from there.
So we're widening the net.
Exactly.
So is there a website that they get involved, a phone number that they call? How do
For
they
sure,
get...
yeah. and I'll make sure I get you this website so you can push it out to folks. But we do have what we call connector or community training. So there is a Senior Connect. I'll get you the website. I'm drawing a blank right now. But we have modules that we've done up to educate the public. So what signs to look for elder abuse, what signs to look for people who may be experiencing dementia or other crisis in their lives. So we've got that training that's free for the public to take.
It's free.
Absolutely free, just on how to become a connector and what to look for when you're looking at seniors in the community. And then we really rely on those folks that have taken that training. They get fun little certificates too to say that they're a connector and they've done the training, on how to then connect them to us. It's as simple as either calling our direct intake line, which I can give you as well, or you can be linked through the Distress Center as well to Senior Connect. But everyone we can get doing that training and becoming a connector is just going to, like you said, widen that net and make sure that every senior at every corner of the city has someone looking out for them and is in their corner.
So we have all the different Calgarians who are older that are included as a member of Calgary, and they're not left behind.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Chris, honestly, I really thank you for taking the time, because I know you're so busy, but thank you for taking the time to explain to us all about Seniors Connect, because it's an important program and how we can get involved with it. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. And we're going to make sure that everybody who watches our video is able to get in contact with the Calgary Seniors Resource Society, so that if they want to volunteer, even if it's just a little bit of time, it all makes a difference.
Yeah, and I appreciate you highlighting the program as well too, because like I said, the more people that know, it's just the more people, I think of them as our Senior Connect family. We've got, while they may not be social workers, they may not be volunteering, they're still a part because they're out there connecting those vulnerable seniors that are in community to the services that can support them.
Right, and it's not just a label on people, it's Calgarians helping Calgarians.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you so much.
For sure.